What's up everybody, Jesse from Team Storming here, and today I'm going to show you all my Cyber Dragon deck. It's been a few years since I've last uploaded, and that's because I'm just not that competitive anymore. I don't really have a lot of time to go to locals or like regionals or YCSs, so I just basically play Master Duel and that's kinda it. Sometimes I play with friends and sometimes I go to a local here and there, but not that very often. But obviously I still play the game, I still like the game, like I said, still play Master Duel, and Cyber Dragons will always be one of my favorite decks because I'm a big GX fanboy. I love Cyber Dragons, I love heroes, decks like that. So it doesn't really matter, even if Cyber Dragons is not really that great of a deck, I will still play it because I just simply really like the cards. So I want to show you all what my deck would look like if I would go to a local right now. So yeah, without further ado, let's stop rambling and show you all my Cyber Dragon deck. Obviously, we're playing triple Cyber Dragon, the OG. I feel like you kind of have to play 3. Every time I see a deck profile with less than 3 Cyber Dragons, I'm just like, ugh. No, that's kind of cringe. Opening 1 Cyber Dragon feels really great. But obviously multiple is kinda but we have to play 3 because we're playing the, spoiler alert, we're playing Machine Duplication, so I definitely want to play 3 of the OG. Then we're playing triple Cyber Dragon Core. This is literally the core of the deck. You cannot play Cyber Dragons without 3 Cyber Dragon Core. Obviously its effect on summon is really great to search you a Cyber Dragon spell or trap, but also the Grave effect is phenomenal. It's great follow-up. It makes Cyber Dragon able to have somewhat of a grind game. So yeah, triple Cyber Dragon Core, I shouldn't really have to explain this. Then for a new card, Disablaster, the Negation Fortress. This card is really cool, and I'm gonna talk about this card for a little bit. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus on this card. Yes, here we go. So it's level 5, so that's great. And the pendulum effect reads, negate any card effects activated in this card's column, which is great. But the real nice thing about this card is actually the monster effect. If there is a column with no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone in that column. You can only special summon Disablaster, the Negation Fortress, once per turn. So this is just a free level 5 that negates a column. So that's great, so you can easily go to your Nova and your Affinity with this. And what's also great is that this is a machine duplication target. So that makes machine duplication way often, usable. Because in the past, with only your baby Cyber Dragons, you would open hands with, machine duplication and no baby Cyber Dragons, which, would suck. But this card is actually also a machine duplication target, so that's really great. I think this is definitely worth playing 3 copies of in your Cyber Dragon deck, so yeah, try this card out, it is really great. Then we're playing 2 Therion King Regulus. Now, this card, spoiler alert, I am playing Clockwork Knight and it's searchable, so you could argue just play 1 Therion King Regulus, but the thing is, I never really use Clockwork Knight's, second effect to search this card because Clockwork Knight has to be in the graveyard. You need to discard a card, which is kind of so I just like playing 2. I really like opening this card, but I think 3 is definitely overkill and is really clunky. So yeah, 2 is perfect. This card is just awesome. You go second, you play your Cyber Dragon, maybe you contact Fuse, you have a Cyber Dragon engraved, then you activate this, you have a free negate, and then you just try to continue with breaking your opponent's board. And obviously, if your opponent lets you go first, this card is just really great. So yeah, definitely try this card out. I love it. Then we have double the Star Destroying Kaiju. This is kind of the same story with the Regulus. Like, yes, you can search this card, but most of the time when you use your, I forgot the name actually of this card, oopsie. When you use your Cyber Repair Plant, you mostly just search for a Galaxy Soldier or maybe another Hearse or maybe a Core. Like, I never really wanted to search this. I don't know, I want to open this to immediately kaiju my opponent so they don't even have a chance to respond. But again, playing 3 copies, it's just kind of, it feels kind of clunky. You know, I guess opening these 2 both in your hands is not the worst, because you can just summon 1 kaiju to your opponent's side of the field, then contact fuse with it, or before you contact fuse with it, you summon your own kaiju and then contact fuse with if you have another Cyber Dragon. But I don't know, man, 2 feels really nice, so I'm playing 2. If you want to play 3 or 1, do whatever you want, but I think you definitely have to play this card. Then we're playing 2 Cyber Dragon Hearse. In the past I would always play 3, but lately I've been trying 2 and it just feels nice. What can I say? You could also play 3 because it is kind of nice to open this card, because then if you have Galaxy Soldier you can then immediately pitch it and then go for your Cyber Dragon Nova Infinity play. But I don't know, man, 2 it just feels right, so that's why I'm playing 2. Then obviously the, I guess, honorary Cyber Dragon, Double Galaxy Soldier, great card. I've seen people actually cut this card because now we have the new Disblaster the Negation Fortress as our level 5 body, but I think it's definitely still worth to play the Galaxy Soldier. And then we're playing 1 Cyber Dragon Nexter. This card is, it's okay, it's nice for follow-up. Opening this card is not the end of the world, but you'd rather honestly special summon this card with Cyber Dragon Core's Graveyard effect. So yeah, I think 1 is just fine. You could play 2, a lot of people play 2, but I don't know, man, I've always liked to play this card just at 1. So that's it for the monsters. No, we're not playing any hand traps, we're just playing board breakers. We just want to gas. You know, we just want to OTK. We want to destroy our opponents in 1 turn, and I need board breakers for that. So we're playing a lot of breakers, so yeah. Now for the spells. 3 Cyber Emergency. If you play Cyber Dragons, you play 3 of this card, because this searches your Cyber Dragon Core, your OG Cyber Dragon. You need to play this card. I shouldn't really have to explain why. Then, like I already said, we're playing 3 Machine Duplication. Just amazing cards. I've seen people actually cut this card because they think it's janky, and yeah, it is kind of janky, but who cares, man? It just feels so great, just summoning your Cyber Dragon Core or your Hearse or Nexter, and then resolving this card is just an amazing feeling. It's not once per turn, so if it gets ashed, you can just activate a second one if you open, 2 copies. If you play Triple Tactics Trust, spoiler alert, I'm not playing that card because, I don't know, I just don't own it. I think it's still a bit expensive. Then you could actually just play 1 copy, because Trust can actually just, search you this card. But because I don't own that card, I'm playing 3. And again, you have plenty of targets with your baby Cyber Dragons and also your Negation Fortress card. So I think it's definitely worth playing 3 of this card. Then we're playing the absolute, just amazing board breaker card. I just freaking love this card. Triple Clockwork Knight, just insane. This card basically changes all monsters on the field to machine, so you can just clear your opponent's board so easily when you summon a Cyber Dragon and having this on the field. It also gives an attack boost, so you do have to be careful, because if you have this on the field and then summon a baby Cyber Dragon and then you want to machine dupe, well, you can't anymore, because, this card gives a little attack boost. And like I talked about before, this card also has a second effect, where if it's in your graveyard, you discard a card and then you can search your Therion King Regulus, which is also really nice, but it barely comes up for me, so that's why I'm playing 2 of Therion King Regulus instead of 1. But yeah, the main effect, obviously, turning everything to machine is really amazing. Then for some board breakers, we're playing Double Lightning Storm. This card is obviously insane. I mostly just use it for back row, because this deck does struggle a lot with back row. Then we're playing 2 Mind Control. This card is obviously really great to bait out negation, just like with Lightning Storm. Then we're playing 2 Triple Tactics Talent. This card is just insane. Every time this card resolves, it's just so amazing. You can draw 2, you can look at your opponent's hands or take control of one of the monsters. This is just one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, honestly, to play in this deck. I highly suggest you, at least if you maybe have the Triple Tactics Trust, then play at least 1. If you don't own that card, then play 2, maybe even play 3. This card is amazing. Then we're playing 2 Duality. This card is really great. When this card came out, people like instantly played 3 of this card, and then it just... I've seen more and more people cut this card, which I'm kind of just surprised about, because this card is just great, man. Just being able to also dodge hand traps with this on your Galaxy Soldier when you try to search another Galaxy Soldier, it's just really great. You can just easily get Rampage Dragon out with this card. I think it's definitely worth to at least play 2 copies. You know, you could play 3, but I wanted to make room for some other cards, and I definitely did not want to go over 40 cards, so I decided to play 2 copies, and it just works great. Really great card. If you have this card, play it. Then for some one-off spells, we're playing 1 Cyber Repair Plant and 1 Cyberload Fusion. These are targets that you can search with your Cyber Dragon Core. Maybe you could also play 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Repair Plant for some more consistency, but I'm kind of iffy about that. And this card, I didn't like this card at first. I don't know why, but lately it's been my absolute favorite to just go for the final push with the OTK in the battle phase. Really great, quick play spell, just amazing targets. Play these if you play Cyber Dragon. And then for the last 2 spells, we're playing 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, again getting rid of Backrow, and 1 Change of Heart. Again, these cards are here to get rid of Backrow, get rid of negations, get rid of interruptions so you can easily OTK. And then for the very last cards, we're playing 1 Cybernetic Overflow. Now, the thing is, this is a trap card, and we want to go second. Obviously, trap cards going second aren't very nice, but I don't know, man. Every time I cut this card, I just miss it. Sometimes you can't OTK. Sometimes your opponent makes you go first, and then it's just really nice to search this, because this is a really nice interruption. So you don't really have to play this card. You could also play something else, maybe a ref system, maybe... I don't know, Called by, Foolish, just anything else. But I don't know, man. I really like this card, so I'm gonna keep playing it. So, like I already mentioned before, this was 40 cards. You definitely do not want to go over 40 with this deck, because this deck is really not that consistent. So, yeah, try to play 40 cards. Then, for the last part of this deck profile, the extra deck. We're playing 1 Cyber Dragon Seeker. Obviously, you have to play this if you play Cyber Dragons. Really great card to be able to OTK. Just using this effect, for example, on your Rampage Dragon is really great when it can attack 3 times. They were playing a generic light target, Lina the Light Charmer. It's really great when you use, for example, Mind Control, and then you have already another monster on field. You can just link off your opponent's monster to get rid of it, so that's nice. And then 1 Salamangreat Onrush, obviously very staple in the deck to get a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard. Then we're playing 2 Cyber Dragon Nova and 2 Cyber Dragon Infinity. I know a lot of people will probably hate me because this is not the OG artwork, but I actually really like this artwork. Anyway, these cards are great. You could, I guess, play 1 Cyber Dragon Nova, because you can revive your Nova with Nexter, and then just, you know, do a Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of it. But I don't know, I really like having 2 Cyber Dragon Nova for the grind game, so yeah. Then we're playing 1 Zeus. This is kind of staple if you play, I guess, XC Monster. This card is just bonkers, just very generic, way too generic and just good. And then we're playing 1 Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. Great card, but I honestly barely make this card, so if you don't own this card and play something else, maybe a, what's it called? A Pallades, you know, the other level, what is it, level 6? No, not level 6, level 5 XC monster that can bounce a card on the field, that's also really great. And then for the fusions, obviously, double Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. This card is just freaking bonkers, just Cyber Dragon plus Clockwork Knight, just this card allows you to, you know, get rid of the whole board, then have a big chunky Fortress Dragon. It's just really great. You have to play at least 2 of this card. Maybe I'm actually gonna play 3 in the future. Then we have double Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. If you don't own Duality, I guess you could only play 1, that's fine. But I like playing 2. Just really great OTK machine. Then we're playing 1 Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. You could also play 2 of this, but it barely comes up. And then last but not least, Cyber Twin Dragon. This card is just amazing. Before Duality, a lot of people actually did not play this card, but now with Duality, I absolutely think you absolutely have to play this card. This card is just great OTK machine. I actually make this card also a lot with my Cyberload fusion lately. I think you absolutely have to play this OG OTK machine. So that's it for my Cyber Dragon deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed watching this, and if you did, then please leave a like on this video. Comment what you liked about this deck. Maybe you have some great suggestions, let me know. And subscribe for more. It motivates me to keep making these videos. So, with that being said, see you all later.